Hey guys, welcome back to Modern Country Living. Hope you had a fantastic July 4th holiday here in Pennsylvania. We had some great weather, just really perfect. Got to spend some time with friends, got to spend some time with my family, did some fishing, caught a bunch of walleye, did some brush hogging, a little bit of that, worked out, did some chores, did some great worship service at church on Sunday, and I don't know, just felt, I just feel pumped up. Gonna do a little more brush hogging here. Oh man, there's a bald eagle. Look at that, right out back behind me. We caught a bunch of walleye this weekend, and of course I cleaned the walleye when I get home, and I got to put the carcasses somewhere, so I put them back in the field, and there was a bald eagle back there when I just walked out here. That's pretty awesome, pretty cool. Did some fireworks. Pennsylvania finally allows us to run the big stuff, so I did buy my son, you got to get this one, Dad. I go over, it's called the Moab, mother of all bombs, and so we let that thing go. It was like 9 shots, and I was gonna take it to a friend's house. We lit off some fireworks at a friend's house, and I was really nervous about taking Moab because the gentleman at the store told us, he's like, it's the biggest one we've got, and when it goes off, it's kind of like a willow tree, and stuff does, spread out like a few hundred feet and come to the ground. Well, it does, and I was a little nervous because I lit it off back here in my back driveway, so you can see my house is back there, and I lit it off right behind me and up in the sky, way up there, and it felt like for like a football field's distance around me, there was hot stuff raining down from the heavens. God said he wouldn't flood the earth again, but you never know if he might burn us up. Yeah, I just want to make sure I didn't start a forest fire at my neighbor's or at my friend's house, and and of course at my neighbor's as well. But we just had a really awesome 3 days, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Ate some good food. Yeah, just very thankful. I know there probably are people that watch my YouTube channel that are not in the United States of America, and you're kind of like, 4th of July? Well, yeah, that happens every year. But in this country, for some people, really acknowledging the fact that back over 200 years ago, some guys got together and said, we want freedom. No offense if you're in England, because you weren't alive back then anyhow. But they wanted freedom from the oversight of the king, and they didn't want taxation without representation, and they threw a little tea party, and they decided they were going to declare independence, and they, really put it all on the line to create the United States of America. An imperfect place, for sure. There's nothing perfect about this country, but it has corrected wrongs. It has worked, and we've sought to, right the injustices that we've had. And I sometimes I think I'd like to live on Mars just because of everything that goes on with humanity in general. But this country still offers some amazing things, and enough people want to come here legally and not legally that we, sometimes we think we got it rough, but you can go in other places and, we have a cakewalk. That doesn't mean we want to go backwards. I've got some pretty strong views about what I think's wrong and what I think we need to focus on. And if you know me, you probably know what some of those things are, but I don't think we're going to get better without some divine intervention and people acknowledging that we didn't just crawl up from underneath that rock. We didn't just, come from nothing. We were created. We were created we're loved, and if we love others as we want to be loved, that a lot of the problems of the world tend to go away. You don't tend to, walk across the line and start pounding on people. You tend to show respect because you want those things. So it was a great weekend, and I'm happy to celebrate Independence Day, and thankful for those that fought to provide the freedoms that we have here in the United States. And if you don't live in the United States, nothing wrong with that. I'm just thankful that I live here. And if you ever visit us in this country, hopefully you'll find out why it's an amazing place. But right now, I'm gonna walk out back. I don't know, looks like it's a little bit dark up there. But I might get some rain, but I'd like to do a little more brush hogging tonight and see if I can knock some more of these weeds down. So let's go out and see what we can make happen. All right, been a while since I've done a video on the new Holland. And of course I've got my LandPride 3610. This thing is awesome. Not that, I don't want my other one to feel bad. My little 7-foot 297 bush hog, that thing's a beast. I've been using it like crazy on a project, but just very thankful to be able to have this LandPride. It's almost like luxurious, and I know that's strange, but when you like cutting down weeds and such, and you can do it with ease, it just makes you even happier. So some things that I've noticed about this unit: number one, it's very smooth. It does a nice cut. I tend to brush hog like I want to have a golf course. I like the weeds really knocked down. I tend to cut it pretty low, and the power of this tractor seems to be matched very well with this 10-foot unit. I can move along at a good clip. The drive line seems to be very stout and secure. Now, in general, I'm, mowing areas that I've already mowed, but a couple times I've backed into some thick, brushy, woody stuff, and it just knocks it down. It doesn't even miss a beat. One of the things I do need to do is buy another spacer for this cylinder right here, as when I drop it down to the location the height that I want, I really want that spacer to be backing it up so the cylinders is not taking all the load. So I need to get another one of these at the correct height so that I can set that properly. But yeah, the gearbox that I did some work on, it was that side, yeah, that side. Everything's holding oil as it should. No, it was this side. I think it was this side. But at any rate, everything's holding oil. We changed all those oils. If you watch my video, we changed the seal in the one. We got new blades on it. Everything's been greased a few times now. And one of the things that is a little bit difficult, and the previous owner warned me, this PTO shaft assembly, it is heavy. And you need to get it lined up with your spline on your 3-point hitch. And I can tell you that can be a little bit of a chore, because it's, the weight of it and the precision of getting it aligned. It's not insurmountable. I do it whenever I put it on. It's just something that if you are not physically strong, I don't know how you do it, because it just requires a fair amount of effort. But my little holder, if you watch my other video, works great. Very happy with that. Should have been an option that they put on the purchase of this one. Maybe they did offer it, but the guy didn't buy it. But yeah, and even though I like to keep it waxed, it's got quite a bit of debris on it. But the nice thing is, with being waxed, is boom, I can just blow it off with the leaf blower and spray it off. Mud kind of comes off it pretty nicely and easily, because I have hit some mud spots, but everything's working great. So let's get this thing fired up. you can see why this is kind of luxurious brush hogging. Climate controlled. Don't have to worry about running over a hornet's nest and succumbing to them in a tractor that doesn't have a cab. That being said, if I couldn't afford this, if I couldn't have this, I'd be out here doing it with whatever I could. But I do enjoy being out here with the cab. And this mower just tears it up. I think it makes a nice clean cut. Now, I'm sure I could go faster. I'm doing like almost 5 miles an hour. Part of the reason is it's rough. You know, I'm going through old fields and it's uneven in spots. There's some roughness to the terrain. And I'm also trying to negotiate around some trees, my oak trees and everything else that I've planted. I'll tell you, the wildlife really likes it when I mow this stuff down. I get some different grasses that start growing instead of just goldenrod. And clover starts to pop up, and the deer are out here just munching down on it. Which is awesome. Gotta like that. Makes them tasty. No offense to those that don't believe in eating deer or whatever wild game is out here, but they are tasty. So if you have one of these Woods rotary cutters, I'm curious of people's experience with them. I've probably been happy with whatever I got. I mean, unless it did a terrible job. But for what I paid and what this thing is doing, I'm very happy with it. That being said, if I'd had a bush hog, 10-footer, or a Woods, or John Deere, or whatever, rhino, I just like being out here, kind of sculpting the property a bit. Just something I really enjoy. And I don't know if we're going to get that rain they were calling about or not. Kind of a little bit darker to the north. Some clouds to the south, but nothing too major. Maybe it's going to blow by. Though we could use a little bit of water. The new trees that I've planted would appreciate it. I like to mow this little lane right here. Because back there, I'm not sure if you can see in the distance, I have a tree stand. Got an apple tree right there. You know, not anything I planted, just naturally here. And you can see kind of deer trails they run through here. Got some multiflora rose right there. Alright, come back up and mulch that up if I can. Nice little oak trees coming up. See some of the tree protectors. I'll tell you, if I don't have the tree protectors on them, the deer just love it. They hammer them, which I'm glad the deer like them. But I really would like to get some oak trees to get big and tall, because I think they'll like what that is even better. There's some areas here, when I drive by, you'll see it, that have got a lot of milkweed, and I'm leaving it standing. You know, get some monarch butterflies and whatnot, give them a place to hang out, make their little happy home. I'd like to make this turn. Gonna do it. Yep. Right now the tractor has 679 hours on it, and this was probably the most costly year I've had with it. Definitely was, other than the year I bought it. Had mice chew up a return fuel line, which unfortunately sits atop the engine beneath the exhaust, which is a DPF, diesel particulate filter, and because of that I couldn't get at it, so I had to take it to the dealer, and they had to essentially remove the loader, remove the whole front of the tractor, the hood, everything, and get their way down into the motor area, the engine area. Essentially find this little, you know, let's call it $100. It's probably only worth like $6 with this return fuel line, and even though it does have a protective sheath on it, the mice ate it, created a little home there. It created a fuel leak. Now, fortunately, it was not on the high pressure side of the fuel system, but it put enough diesel fuel into the engine compartment that it was problematic for sure. I mean, it could cause a fire. So we got that all squared away, and that cost me a pretty penny. And then the serpentine belt, I don't know, because it maybe got diesel fuel on it, but it shredded, and that happened at my house, and it caused a problem where now you can't really drive it because you don't have cooling and you don't have an alternator. So I had to have a service call, more money. But I think my dealer was very fair with the pricing. I mean, obviously it's never fun to pay for that kind of stuff. It's not, you know, expected expense, but if you own this kind of stuff, you better have the ability to handle expenses in addition to, you know, that are above and beyond your normal maintenance, because stuff's gonna happen. You know, it could be out here and, you know, I could poke a hole in the tire. It could cost you, you know, $400 or whatever to have someone come out and repair it, if they can repair it. If they can't repair it, if I tear up one of these back monster, one of the back rear big radial tires, it's gonna cost a fortune. $1,000 gone. So I mean, if you have this stuff, you got to kind of prepare. That's why I kind of walked my way up the tractor world as time has gone on. Kind of bottomed her out there, and you know, your capacity. Oh, jeez, didn't mean to do that. Let's see what's happening here. No, I See, just like that. Somewhere I've been before, you don't realize stuff's happening. And therefore, caught the edge of that little tree, and, you know, fortunately, no damage, right? My mirror needs twisted back, but it's adjustable. But it's just stuff happens, especially if you use it, and sometimes even when you don't, in the case of mice getting into the engine bay. And so like right there, I didn't see it, but there's a huge rock, and luckily it caught the edge and skidded up on the skid shoes of the rotary cutter. So, I mean, again, that could have been something that could have cost some money if I got that rock tang up under there. Now the blades of this brush hog are like a lot of brush hogs, or probably every brush hog, they are pivoting. So they ride on a big pan, and if they hit an obstacle, they can swing, which is good, but they are heavy. They're like, you know, 28, 29 inches long. They're very thick steel, like 4" by half or 5/8, I don't know. And so they're massive. So you can break them, you can bend them up, you can cause problems. And replacing those, you know, each one $50 to $60, $70, depending on what you're getting. I'm gonna raise this up a little bit through here because I got some roots that I need to make get by that tree. So, you know, that's really it. I get to be out here sculpting the landscape a little bit. Always gonna be watching out for my little baby trees. I try to flag them all, but sometimes the flags fall down, so I have to kind of remember where I planted everything, which is not easy as I get older. But hope you enjoy this video footage. And if you do, make sure you check it out. Like, hope you enjoy this video footage. If you do, maybe you'll subscribe to my channel. Maybe you'll hit like. Maybe you'll tell your friends.